want to show you a slide, and this is a little bit cheesy. Don't focus on that part. It's kind of fun. Not a slide, a video. It's kind of fun at this point in the presentation, though, I think. So let's take a.
What's wrong, honey? Can't sleep?
No, I'm fine. I'm sorry I woke you.
Oh, Charlie, talk to me.
Well, it's probably nothing,
But what?
well, you know I've been talking about retiring and selling the business in a couple of years.
Yes, and you said you contacted some companies and that the prospects look good.
Mm-hmm. Until this international group came into the picture.
What group?
Oh, they're huge, multinational. And they have plenty of money to invest in marketing and R&D.
What's that got to do with our retirement?
Honey, they're undercutting our prices. They're buying up raw materials right and left. They're making it practically impossible for me to compete.
Which makes it harder to sell the business.
Those companies I've been talking to, some of them are backing off already. You think they're anxious to go head-to-head against a big outfit like that? They wouldn't do any better than me, and they know it.
Well, what if you were to sell to this international group? Have you considered that?
Sure, but they know I can't compete with them, and I'd get half of what the company is worth.
Charlie.
Oh, it's my own fault. I should have listened to Ray, planned ahead, made investments. I can hear him now. Charlie, that's what you paid me for.
Oh, please. How could you know something like this would happen?
Right. You know, nobody saw this coming. And my business.
It's your life.
It's the one thing I know. And I thought if anything would pay off for me. For us.
Come on. We don't know what's going to happen.
That's the point.
So that's not really what it looks like when I see it. I mean, I've been in business for 20 years, and we had, I think, 800 clients 5 years ago or something. So after 20 years with 800 clients and 98% of businesses fail in the first 10 years, how many disasters do you think you see? I've seen a lot of disasters. And that's not usually what it looks like. Usually the wife's in the room and she's scowling. I can't even do it. She's scowling at the guy, and the guy is emasculated. I mean, he's totally she is just pissed at him. You know, usually it's, you know, I mean, I don't know what the percentage of female versus male entrepreneurs there are, but there's a lot of male entrepreneurs, so I'm trying to be sensitive to the gender issue here. But the guy is just, you know, he's done something, he's taken that risk, and he's put it all on the line, and it didn't work out. And she's pissed because he took away her financial security, and it's the beginning of the end for that family. And it's, you know, it's just something to think about. I don't think it's natural for entrepreneurs to think that way, to think about that financial security, to think about making financial security a priority out of their business ventures. So let's talk about, you know, the wealth allocation of the 2% Club. Here's an actual situation. The guy had a business value of $600,000. He had real estate that was fully paid off, owner-occupied real estate for $1.1 million. He had stocks of $450,000, bonds and cash of $1.5 million for a total portfolio of $1.9 million. This guy owned a wholesale company. He was 68 years old. He's 28 years in business, makes $150,000 a year, and lives on $80,000 a year, and invests the difference. I group assets into assets for risk-taking and assets for financial security. And in his case, his assets for risk-taking, which would be this business and these stocks versus everything else, $1 million in assets for risk-taking, 29%, $2.6 million or 71% for financial security. This is just, he's just one of the guys that we studied over the years. And what do these guys do that successfully, you know, go through these transitions? And he was extremely conservative. You can see with bonds and cash at 1.5 million, very conservative outside his portfolio or outside of his business. Another guy that I met actually came to the presentation the last time I gave it. He had stocks of $500,000, a business value of $1 million, and real estate of $4.5 million that was all paid off. And so 64 years old, 42 years in business, made $100,000 a year. His real estate earned $300,000 a year. He lives on $150,000. His assets for risk-taking, $1.5 million. For financial security, $4.5 million. You know, he could probably diversify a little out of his real estate. He's got a pretty heavy exposure there, but I just don't see how he's going to get hurt on it with it being, you know, no debt there and a good history of cash flow and such. But 75% of his assets for financial security. This is not the guy in the video, but the guy in the video could be him. I don't know what's going on at his house, but his business value was $650,000. His real estate's $200,000, and his stocks of $50,000. This guy's 70 years old. He's been in business 28 years. He makes $200,000 a year. He lives on $200,000 a year. And his construction-related business, and the value went from $650,000 to $150,000 in about 2 years. It's kind of a trap. You know, he's not going anywhere. You know, people, when we get into the exit planning section, we'll talk about this, you know, 3 things you got to know when you want to leave a business. The reason people don't leave their business is because this guy can't leave his business. He doesn't have a choice. There's nowhere to go. He's not going to give up his lifestyle, so he'll hang out in it until, you know, and he'll ride it out, which is, you know, that's fairly natural. But point is, the more of your wealth that's represented by your business, the less control you have over the exit. So let's just, so the objective is to diversify, to build your investments outside